Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode. Where are we at? 544? 544. Happy Tuesday. Unfortunately, today's going to be kind of a bummer of a topic. At least I'll try to my monologue. I'll try to be happy and perky and talk fun hobby. But I do want to touch on a serious subject. And as I just mentioned to Jenny, what's up, Jenny, in the chat, something actually literally just dawned on me just before I ran upstairs to grab my coffee on why we're actually in. Alluding to Jenny yesterday in the chat mentioned some tweets she's recently seen, and all of a sudden, light bulb went off. That one right there, light bulb went off in my over my head, and I think I realized what's led to some of that. And I'll get into more of why I think the hobby and the trading card market is in a decline. I've got the crappy coffee today. Ugh. This is I think this is Trader Joe's, but it's whole bean, so I'm grinding. And so a friend of mine's big into coffee, and actually have a couple coffee nerds. What do you call them? Coffee snobs. A couple of friends that are coffee snobs, and one of them recently told me last summer that it's all about the grinder. It's not the coffee. It's all about the grind of the coffee beans. And ugh, I have like a $20 Target coffee grinder. So my wife thought it would be nice to to buy me a coffee grinder and whole bean coffee. Like, oh, you can grind your own coffee in the morning. And now it's like I used the rest of my coffee yesterday. It's like, oh, I'll just run to the grocery store and buy some more coffee, and I didn't. And then this morning it's like it was like 6:40 when I was ready to go, and it's like I have time to run to Dunkin' and get a good coffee, and get back in time by 7. But I decided I'll just grind this stupid coffee, and it's got to get used, otherwise it's going to be tossed. So I'll just use it, suck it up. It may actually slow my coffee consumption down if I drink this garbage coffee. But it's definitely operator. I don't think it's actually. I don't blame the coffee. I probably blame myself and the coffee grinder. It's a tag team operation on making this crappy coffee. Got to use that up since money was spent, right? Saving pennies, not going to Dunkin'. There you go. I would have spent, because I probably would have bought a sandwich too. I probably would have spent $8 and got to save those pennies. Yeah, it's probably the coffee on its own, probably $3, and then the sandwiches are pretty pricey, like $5. I have to finish an episode of Ozark. There you go, great show. What's up, Victor? Good morning to you. So yesterday I was like more productive than ever, and I think I had to be, because we had friends in town. 3 out of the last 5 days or whatever. So it was kind of limiting my business action. So I did a bunch of shipping in the morning. And then I spent like the rest of the day. I ended up putting about 400 items in my eBay store yesterday. So I did about 300 baseball and 100 basketball cards, mostly from this latest Goodwill palette. And then so I'm listing up until about dinner, and I had my eating schedule was off yesterday. So I had like lunch, and then I had Doritos. I got hungry because I had kind of a light lunch, so I ate a bunch of Doritos at like 4. So that like killed my appetite for dinner. Fortunately, my wife got home late from work, and she says, she's like, I'm not really that hungry. I'm like, hey, me neither. So this is literally my dinner last night: an apple and some Havarti cheese. That was so I'm hungry this morning. So I probably should have went to Dunkin' and got my fill on that breakfast sandwich. Victor's with us. What's up? DR's with us. Morning. Hope you have a great day. Just discovered that Target by me restocks on a Monday night instead of later in the week, which is why I haven't seen cards in months. Dan, that's a great observation. I haven't touched on this, but there's some weird stuff going on at my Target as well. And I first noticed it. It was also a Monday, Dan. It was also a Monday because it was the day before I left for spring training. I ran to Target to get the travel size, toothpaste, deodorant, all that stuff. Which, by the way, whenever I'm sure it was several years ago, but when the retail stores decided to put all of that in its own section instead of having the travel size deodorant with the deodorant, the travel size toothpaste with the toothpaste, makes it so easy because you're leaving for a trip tomorrow. You need to pick all those travel size containers up, and they're all in one nice little tidy section. Bravo to whoever thought of that at Target, Walmart, whatever retailer. It was great. But anyway, so that Monday before I flew out on a Tuesday morning, that Monday I went to Target. I pick up my travel size stuff, and this is a Monday afternoon. And I went up just to see if there were any cards at the card section. Not that I was going to buy any, but I just wanted to check it out because I actually haven't gone to Target too often lately. So I go into the card, or I go to the card section. There's a Target employee stocking. So all of the XL boxes are out, and they're open, and he just kind of looks at me, and I'm like, okay, this is bizarre. And so I was looking for like Mosaic Football. I think came out 3 weeks ago. When I think that was the hot retail product at the time. And I'm like, do you have any football? And he was being very coy. And he was very careful when he was looking in the XL boxes. He was being very careful as to not show me what was inside. So I texted my buddy Ryan, who lives here, and he goes out retail hunting a lot more than I do. So I told him the whole story, and he's like, I think they're probably hooking up a friend. And then was it last week? The same thing happened last week. Again, I didn't go specifically for cards. I just went to pick up supplies or something. And again, a Target employee was stocking the card section. And it wasn't on, that might have been like a Wednesday. It wasn't a Friday. So I found that to be bizarre. So yeah, so I don't know what Target's doing. I'm not a regular retail hunter. I go to Walmart because they're still on the schedule, and they've been pretty consistent with stocking. Target's been kind of all over the board, and Dan, that could be why. Because when I go to Target, I'll stop by on a Friday, and the stuff's been out since Monday. That very well could be. So I'll have to pay closer attention. Let's see. So Victor's having some DD coffee. There you go. What's up, Abraham? Good morning to you. Any Joey Bart? I've probably got some more Joey Bart to restock in my store. I don't think I added any. Yesterday, what I added for baseball was a lot of 80s and 90s stuff. But I actually, after I loaded up my store and I had my apple and Havarti cheese for dinner, I came downstairs to watch Herman and Brad on their Monday night show, on Herman's Monday night show. I brought down the bulk that I bought at Saturday's card show, which is a lot of more modern stuff. I don't know if there's any Joey Bart in those boxes. I'm sure there is. There's like 15,000 cards, but I was sorting out like Bowman player lots, and I actually did move, I think, a Jordan Walker, and it's not a first. These aren't first Bowmans, though there are quite a few first Bowmans, but they're the lesser tier, so I might just put those in a box and save for a rainy day in 2 years. So I was doing that last night. OG, what's up? Good morning to you. Smash that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you can. Cooter's with us. Good morning. DR is getting close to pulling the trigger on a label printer. Quick question. Do you still have to print out your pull sheet on a regular printer and then print your labels on the label printer? I'm not sure what you mean. Just wondering about the logistics of your shipping preparation process. So I'm not sure what you mean by pull sheet. So basically what I do is I've got my eBay window open. I'm not on StreamYard, so I can't share my screen. So I go to my orders. So within my eBay, I go to orders, awaiting shipment. And then once that pulls up, it shows, and this is why I love eBay, because everything's right there. And when I mark an item shipped, it's no longer awaiting to be shipped. So my most recent sale was a 1973 Topps Dan Pastorini football card. So I will just go and I'll be like, okay, so I'll pull the 73 Topps Dan Pastorini. I'll click purchase shipping label. I'll print the label and then put the card in the envelope and ship it, and then go back. And the next one is a 2020 Topps Pro Debut Joshua Mears, and do the same thing. So I'm not. I don't know if you mean like pulling all the cards at once. I do one order at a time. So I'm not. So if I have I think I have 159 items to ship right now. So I'm not printing a sheet of all that I need to pull, although that could be a time saver over doing each individual order. But I just go order by order. Sometimes when I'm sorting through it, if it's an unsorted pile, like right here is a recent add to my eBay store that I haven't sorted and put in its appropriate place. So if I know oh, I just listed that the other day, it's probably in this pile, and then I'll see other cards oh, this card sold, and I'll put them out here we go. These cards are awaiting to be shipped because they were in multiple card orders, like an 88 Topps traded Robin Ventura, Pro Debut Helio Ramos, a Bowman Glaber Torres. So as I was sifting through piles, I knew, okay, I saw those in another order. I'm going to put those off on the side because I'll be shipping these soon. So that's my shipping process. Gonna go back up to, you can print anything on the labels. I don't recommend it because you waste labels, in my opinion. Yeah, that's a great point. You can print anything on the labels, but you want to save the labels for the actual labels. Jenny said someone shared an image of Target saying not selling to resellers. That's been pretty common. And that I think even predates the hobby retail boom. They don't sell to resellers, and that's a lot of retail arbitrage, people putting stuff on Amazon. So that goes above and beyond just cards. And that's been their store policy for a while. Card Hobbyist, what's up? Good morning. Zach is catching up. Good morning to you. Straight execution for insurance purposes. Some retailers are not letting vendors stock shelves. They make their employees do it. If a third party hurts themselves, stocking insurance nightmare. That's a good point. I don't think that's the case in this case. But maybe something did happen. With the craze we saw last year, maybe XL was like, we're not going to put our employees in harm's way anymore. So that could be a decision. That could be an XL decision where they don't want their employees stocking the shelves. The employees will inspect it, and after, if they're stocked on a Monday afternoon, they come in and take a look. So they're not actually on the front lines stocking the shelves themselves. So I could actually see that, but from an XL, from the third party standpoint. Jenny says I do the same for pulling cards. Dan is back. So yeah, that was my day yesterday. Shipping and listing and sorting. So a lot to ship still today. And then I might do some more listing, at least to get 100. So I'm up over the reason I was really adamant on getting a bunch of cards in was because I want to get over 11,000. I had dipped down after being gone for a week, and just playing catch up, and with the pallet buy always puts me behind. So finally got all that cleaned up. And there's still a couple tubs in my car from the Goodwill pallet, but it's just I think a lot of it is junk wax, and not stuff that's very good. DR does the bulk label printing, and it gives me the option to print the cards that are needing to be shipped. So then I use that paper to pull all my cards and put them in envelopes. I've never done that bulk label option. I've I've thought about it when I see people talk about it, but I've never tried it out. Maybe once I get down to like a reasonable amount, you know, eh, which is kind of rare for me, I might give it a whirl. My company provides food for Target. No joke. It's a Target directive in the cases I've seen. That's interesting. That's interesting. But I could see this being on in specifically for cards. And what we saw in 2020 with vendors getting stalked and being followed by people, now it's a liability for the vendor, for the company that's stocking Excel, as opposed to Target. Although I mean Target's going to be liable if something bad happens as well. But I can see more of an insurance nightmare for Excel, when your vendors are being, I think there was that story of one of the vendors had a GPS device put on his car, multiple reports of being followed. Of course, you had the fights in the stores over the boxes and all that. And I'm glad I think we're through with that as you go to the stores and you see cards on the shelves. So I don't think we're in that situation anymore. OG was caught up in the retail hunt. It's been a wild ride. I buy, rip, and hold. The kids love it. When everybody went crazy and the fights and weapons were drawn, we took a hiatus. When my local stores started having like 50 people in line, that's when I'm like, screw it. I'm not waiting an hour, 2 hours with 50 other people in the middle of a pandemic to buy one blaster box. Because at that point it was like that's what you would get. So that's when I threw in the towel on retail. And even now, like I go find retail less than what I used to, but that's more because it's now a business for me, and it's not like it's like, oh hey, I've got this card money, I'm gonna go piss it away on blaster boxes. Um, which is I used to piss it away on blaster boxes when it was just card money. So I just got to be smarter with the spending. Jenny says she would screw up on bulk label option. That's my fear. It's like I'll screw it up and I'll mess something up and then I'll cost myself like a week of time because I have to go back and search what I messed up. I had some really good experiences with vendors at Walmart and Target. Our Target vendor, and I haven't seen him because I haven't gone to Target too often. But he was awesome. He was a great guy. OG did get hustled by store employees to buy cards. They are very selective who they hook up. It was a crazy roller coaster ride. Just happy to be alive and still collecting. Dan says, wasn't there a shooting? I think there was no shooting, but a gun was drawn. And not too far from me, about an hour away from me in a suburb of Milwaukee. Greed does weird things to people. Absolutely. I quit hunting for retail if I happen to come around. So be it. Gas is too expensive to drive around for blasters and hangers. And I'm going to get into that. And I think that's part of the reason why we're in a hobby decline. And I think it's going to continue. Let's see. Good morning, John. What's up? Card Hobbyist is absolute correct. It was all greed and speculation. So that leads into my thought for the day, that we are in a hobby decline and it's only going to continue. OG had a shooting at a local Renton, Washington Target. Yikes. Just bought $100 worth of diapers this morning and scored a $20 gift card. I smell some cards in the future. Very nice. So I actually just light bulb went off above my head, like literally after I hit click the link to tweet this video out today. Jenny mentioned yesterday in the chat about various people needing money. They've overspent in the hobby and now they're looking to cash out. In fact, one of my collecting direct message groups on Twitter, somebody's like, hey, I need X amount of money. Tell me what you need. And I'll sell it to you. I need to get this money. And so a light bulb went off over my head. And what's next Monday? All of a sudden it dawned on me. What's been one of the bigger stories, and definitely not the biggest with Fanatics, but what's been the biggest story in the hobby when it comes to sales and selling on eBay and getting money through PayPal. And what's next Monday? Tax day. And what did a lot of people probably not prepare for? Paying the taxes on their eBay sales. All of a sudden, here we are a week away from tax day, and people need to find money. I think there's a big correlation there. People need to find money because they have tax bills coming because they weren't prepared or didn't expect to have that tax bill come due on April 18th. So that light bulb went off over my head, and I'm sure other people probably put two and two together before I did. But all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a second. I looked at the calendar. It's April 12th. And I should know this because we're finalizing our taxes and getting everything so it can be in by Monday. And it just kind of glossed over my head because it's constantly on my mind. And especially over the past 3-4 months, and actually for me, since October, I've been in talks with my accountant just on various things for my business. And so it's taxes is just top of mind, and I pay no attention to the date. And then all of a sudden I look down, I'm like, oh wait, tax day is next week. Let's see. Taxes are due. Yeah. Just cashed out some stocks because of tax day. The government requires their cut of those Jordans. Absolutely. It's an opportunity to buy from those in trouble. That's a great way to put it. 1099 means you pay double FICA. So paying my tax bill with 88 Donruss. So yeah. So I think a lot of people were not prepared for what was about to come for them when it came to their 2021 taxes. But that aside, I think we are in a hobby decline, and a lot of it we have to kind of step back. And I've talked about this before, where we tend to, and a lot of people, in fact, some of my friends, recently got into the hobby, within the pandemic, within the last 2 years. And we kind of see these prices, and especially if you came in 2020 and, you rode the roller coaster up to the peak, which was first quarter of 2021. And all of a sudden those prices, Luka Doncic and Mike Trout rookie cards, and some of these rookie cards were way, way, way up there. And it's like these numbers can't hold. And I saw a graph about a month or two ago on Luka cards, like the top 10 Luka cards. And some of these were just like the increase in what they were selling for from like third or fourth quarter 2020 to first quarter 2021 was just absolutely insane. It's like, this can't hold. And I think most of us knew these prices aren't gonna stick. This is this is temporary, because what are we all doing? We're stuck at home. I saw a thing today. I guess you could call it a meme on Facebook, and it was talking. It was basically like, "Take me back," and it was April 2020. It was a picture of a gas station sign. Gas was like 94 cents a gallon. April 2020. What the hell were we doing in April 2020? Absolutely nothing. We weren't driving anywhere because nothing was open. We were locked into our own houses. Of course, gas was only 94 cents because nobody was using it. It's simple supply and demand. It's not political. It's just, you can't go anywhere. You're not going to drive anywhere. You're not going to use gas. Nobody's buying gas. It goes down. People are stuck at home. They're buying cards. Now gas is $4. Now here we are. Gas is $4 a gallon, and people don't want to go out and buy cards because gas is $4 a gallon. So here we are. But I think many of us that have gone through the ups and downs of the hobby, we knew early last year, late 2020 wasn't going to stick. The prices on cards went parabolic, and that's not good. You want a steady increase, not because when you go, you're going to go, and so I think many of us were saying, be careful, don't overspend, don't buy Lucas at 100x of where they were 3 months ago, because these prices are. This is not where they're going to settle. They're going to settle down. So I think we're still in a decline because, like I just mentioned, gas prices are going up. Right now, instead of here we are coming up on tax day, instead of people getting those, especially people within the hobby that sell on platforms on eBay, they don't have that income, that tax money coming in, which, by the way, I am against. I am against giving the government free money and getting a check at the end of the year so they can earn interest on my money throughout the year. So I'm like, try to get it to zero. I don't want a check in April or March or whenever you file. Try to get it close to zero as possible. I'd rather not give the money a big check, give the government a big check in April, but I don't want to receive a big check either. So people not prepared, who in the past may have received those checks in April, now they're signing checks over to the IRS because they sold a lot of stuff, in especially last year, first quarter, probably made a lot of money in the hobby. And so now they're not prepared for that tax bill, and they don't have money to spend because they're paying their taxes, and gas is up, and that leads to other things. When fuel prices are up, that means transportation and logistics are up. So everything, it's a trickle down effect. Fuel prices go up, the prices of your freight, your groceries from point A to point B, those go up. So corporations and stores, now they're paying more for transportation costs. They're going to put that into food costs and the goods that they're selling, they're paying more for, and in turn, that goes on us paying because the prices, it just goes up on everything. So I see some, we're seeing some inflation. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the big R word at some point in the future. And that's all going to affect baseball cards, basketball cards, trading cards in general, because they're not a necessity. And when we have to pay more for gas and everyday essentials like milk, bread, and all of that stuff, meat, and there's less money in the budgets. And what gets cut first? The entertainment budget, the hobby budget. So I think we're still in the thick of that, maybe even at the beginning of this stuff. And I think it's definitely going to affect the hobby, and we're in a decline. And you see products like we talked about WWE Prism yesterday, and $1,300 hobby boxes. And your biggest base card you're pulling when you're paying almost $10 per card, and you pull a $20 card base card, you might not even pull the $20 base card if you don't get a good box as far as base goes. You pull a couple dud autos, and you might only be able to recoup 20% of your money. And when you can't make, if you're buying them to flip and you're only making 20% of your money back, you have less money to buy the next product. And again, another trickle down effect, which affects everybody down the line. So that's I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being realistic in my opinion, because we are seeing this stuff. So I'm going to go back to the chat. Just wait until the date next year. Save your money, folks. You will find deals on PC stuff. Tax season is going to be wild. I think this is going to be the worst, because I think next year people will be prepared. Or wait, did it go into effect? Okay. Did it go into effect for last year's taxes, or is it for this? I'm completely, when did 1099s go out when it hit the 600? Was it for last year's, or is it going to be in effect for next year on 2022 taxes? Now that I switched over, like it has no bearing on me since I started my business last year. So I can't remember where we're at. Let's see. It's crazy. I was in the LCS and you see the same rotating door and story people looking to dump collections. It's crazy, which is it's great for for me and others that want to buy collections. But I talked yesterday. Excuse me. I talked yesterday about the collection I viewed on Sunday, and it wasn't somebody looking to dump the collection. It was because it was a parent passed away, and the kids are non-collectors, and they're like, we this is a lot. We can cash out, make decent money. So, but in my eyes, I'm looking long term. It's going to take me a long time. It's a very nice collection, a lot of great cards, but a lot of, a bulk of it's $20 to $50 cards. And so the price tag is going to be into the thousands, and it's going to take me a long time to recoup selling $20 and $50 cards. And, if it takes me a couple months, where's the hobby going to be in June, July? Hopefully I'm wrong on the hobby being in a decline. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. And hopefully this is the again. But that's one of the reasons that, when you write down, okay, what are the positives and negatives? Let's crunch the numbers. Here's what it involves. Here's what's in the collection. Here's how long it's going to take me to list and sell and ship and all that. And you have to take a look at, okay, it's going to take me. It's not like I can list a few cards and get my money back in a week or two. It's gonna probably take a couple months, because not only do I have to take the time to sort, list, and ship, but some of this stuff probably won't sell right away. So there's a lot of action going through my head on why. And one of the reasons I think we are in a hobby decline, over the next year, it's going to be tough. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to buy this particular collection, but I do enjoy it. So in 2020 and 2021, I think I had the opportunity, and I had people reaching out to me 2, 3, 4 times in like a year and a half period, where the year and a half prior, it was like 2 a month. And now all of a sudden it's like, I looked at this collection on Sunday. I have 2 dealers, 3 dealers that have bulk that they're looking to unload. And I'm going to go look at one. One of my dealers going to bring stuff up, I think in April, if he has room in his van. And then there's one other vendor who I talked with at the last show. He's looking to offload a bulk of his collection. And I thought there was one. Am I missing one other one? I think just those 3. But that's 4 collections or bulk buys in like all of this came together in like a week. One of them we've talked about in the past. But anyway, yes, there's a lot more collections becoming available or bulk buys becoming available, whereas a year ago people were hoarding because there was a demand on everything. Now there's not. Let's see. Jenny, your music to my ears. Well, less essential. We're loving the gas prices. There you go. And I guess I was only in April. By April I was working from home. So I actually went like 2 or 3 weeks, not even like leaving the house, like getting in my car. I think after a week, I just drove around the country because I was so sick and tired of being inside my house. My dad has a famous quote, "Sell the effing cards." My dad said similar things, very similar things. But of course, I just buy and keep buying. And I was the same. Cheap gas, lockdown, and people wanting restaurant food was a perfect storm at that time. Absolutely. It was great for some. It was awful for others. Keep in mind, there may have been people on unemployment still in early 2021, and that wasn't taxed, and now they owe on it. Let's see. Where are we at? I think I missed a lot. Let's see. Where are we at? Jenny, our city is sold out of eggs. Wow. Actually, now that I think of when you say that, when I went to the store last, there were eggs, but there were far less eggs than what there usually is. Although my local grocery store, and I've talked about this, it annoys me because it seems like they're always sold out of things. And then you go to Hy-Vee, where there's a friendly smile in every aisle, um, they're never sold out of anything. They always have a great selection, but it's like out of the way for me. OG, oh my God, I forgot to mention yesterday I saw WWE Prison Box at the LCS. I was excited until I saw the price, $12.95, which is, hey, a little cheaper than online. Blowout cards is $13.50, so save $50. So if you want to share, if you see hobby decline, do you see it keeping enough to do full time, or do you worry about it if it has to go back to a side hustle? So that's a great, perfect question. So while I do see there's a decline, it's not going to die. The hobby will never die. There's always going to be a demand for trading cards. It's just in some cases the demand is going to be less. I think with my niche, I can continue to do it full time, make a living. But yes, it's definitely a worry, and it becomes, I'm always monitoring, and I do want to share, and I pulled up my spreadsheet. I want to share my sell-through rates. It is definitely a concern where I think any business owner has to always have that on the back of their mind, where there's a what if. So yes, I definitely think that with what I do, and my business model isn't around the hot rookie and the hot prospects. Sometimes it is. If I buy boxes and pull that. But I'm not going to card shows and dropping thousands of dollars on Luca Silvers and stuff like that has the volatility. I'm buying 15,000 cards for a penny a piece and selling them for 50 cents to $1 a piece. So I think there's always look at Burbank. Burbank is my trading card business model idol, Burbank sports cards. And that's, I try to on a much smaller scale model my business similarly to Burbank. So yes, I do see I think I can sustain. And actually, if the hobby does decline, it actually, for my business model, may be great. It actually may be better if the hobby declines, because I'm going to piggyback off. I think it was OG. Was it OG who mentioned the collections? And John, it's a great time to buy when it's in a decline. A hobby decline could actually be more beneficial to me selling cards full time than if we're in the peak. Yeah, if you're in a peak, you're selling cards and they're flying off the shelves. But there's less buying opportunities. And when there are buying opportunities, your price per card is up. Where, right now I'm paying a penny a card. If we continue to see a decline, I might pay as low as a quarter of a penny per card. Whatever 0.001 or whatever that is. And there's more opportunities. Like I said, four collections and bulk buys coming up, and I can probably get them for a very reasonable price where, again, it's not the high-end stuff where there's a volatile market. It's the low-end stuff where there's always going to be collectors. And I think there's always going to be, we see on social media, we see the glitz and the glamour on Instagram and YouTube of, look at my $10,000 Mike Trout gold rookie card. Look at this Lucas Silver and the Scion and all of this bright, shiny, expensive stuff. We see the golden auctions tweets, $1 million sale. But in the grand scheme of things, that's a very, very minuscule percentage of the trading card market. The bulk of it is this Royce Lewis Topps Pro Debut that sold for $1.50, or Gleyber Torres, Bowman, all these singles that sell for a $1.50, even 88 Topps. I know Zach will like that one. So I think, Jenny, it's actually best for business for me if there's a hobby decline. I think there's more buying opportunities, and I can buy lower. And the price on this Robin Ventura, it's probably always going to be $1.50 shipped. Or if I throw an offer out, $1.30 shipped, or if they take advantage of some of my sales, 25% off. So that price where my buying price, I probably bought that in a bulk buy for a penny or a half a penny a card, where Now, I'm paying a fraction. I can get 10 of those cards for a penny now instead of one or two. So I'm increasing it tenfold. So that's my thought there. I probably missed some more chats. Every card I've purchased in the past year has gone up in value. Why? Because I enjoy them, and that's the perfect mindset to have. My Cubs cards, I will say, and I know a lot of people that collect for their own personal collections. I'm not going to use the true collector word because I hate that phrase. But my Cubs collection, I care and I don't care about the value because I'm not selling any of it. Do I care if the Cubs cards all go to zero? Yes, because I have money invested into my collection. I don't want them to be worthless. But I really don't care, I guess, at this point in time because they're just sitting in those boxes behind me. But in the end, I don't want them to go down to zero or go. I would prefer them to go up in value, but I really don't care at this point in time. Now, if I'm getting ready to retire and I don't want to collect cards and whatever, I don't want to have just worthless cardboard. And when it has no value to me as a collector anymore, hopefully that time never comes, but it might. You never know. I don't want them to be worth zero. So I know some people say, I have my collection, I don't care if it goes to zero. I'm not in that camp because I do care. I may not care right now, but future Bo probably cares. So that's my thought there. Let's see. Okay, so Jenny, and so that's so 20. So yeah, so and I think that's why we're seeing the influx in people looking for money. C&M Collectibles, what's up? Good morning. Also, keep in mind, eventually, a good portion of the people who were buying and selling during the hype will have to start paying back their college loans. Hey, that's another great point because I see a lot of the hustlers, the card hustlers at card shows. They're college age, and if they were like me when I was in college and I had extra student loan money, I pissed it away. And I'll be the first to admit it. 20-year-old me was really dumb when it came to finances. That's one thing I would go back and tell old me, 20 or young me, don't be an idiot when it comes to your student loans and money. You have to pay that money back. And also, I think there's still a freeze on student loans. So even the recent college graduates that had to have started paying their student loans back, it's frozen, so they don't have to. So when that resumes at some point this year, that's going to be another burden on people with student loan debt. Next year, the $600 threshold takes effect, but the high rollers who eclipse 20K are still on the hook this year. Okay, and there were likely a lot more 20K rollers for 2021 than there were in previous years because of how much how hot the hobby was last year. Leo says also no more stimulus, free money. George, what's up? Good to see you in the chat. George says I'm going to post a card photo for you if any of my slabs ever get back. Some states had the 600 in effect in 2021. Yes. Okay. That's what so I know Illinois went into effect this past year. So for right now's taxes. But like I'm in Wisconsin and I think here they're under the 20K rule still, but then the 600 goes into effect across the board for next year. Okay. Herman says, oh man, I'm late. Good morning. Good morning to you. Let's see. Shoot. Where are we at? Cooter, yesterday I crossed the $600 threshold on eBay sales. They froze my pending payout until I provided my full social security number. Yep. That's under the managed payments plan. Zach says, George, you are an A+ human. Never forget that. I know why Herman is late. Oh yeah. Herman's wife was at that Bon Jovi concert last night. Let's see. Straight execution. Target should have eggs. Burbank, the happiest place in the hobby. The card father. Yes, you were absolutely correct. Now is the time to buy. Dollar cost averaging. There you go. Same with my ice cream people. Can always find 4 quarters in a couch cushion. I love it. Yeah, they got all the expensive stuff and they got the credit card debt they can't afford now. Card hobbyist says, I'm hoping to see clearance stickers again of sealed retail. I think we're past that. I don't think we're coming back to that anytime soon. Maybe next year, but I don't know. But you see a lot of retail sitting where, yeah, you may be onto something. There by the end of the year, there might be some retail stick because you go, especially on like Pro Set and Wild Card. I mean, it's just all over the shelves. We could see a time again where there's Series 1 clearance stickers. So be careful what you buy. Kind of going off of what I talked about yesterday in buying retail. My strategy on buying retail, it's a rip or flip. And I'm only going to buy products that I enjoy ripping, because if there's not a good flip opportunity, I'm going to rip it. And I don't want to rip something that I don't like. Victor says, I don't care on my Cub cards value, but because I'm not selling them. I love my low-end binder collection. Diego, what's up? I care about my hoarding. I care about my hoarding is worth. George, I care. I want my shit to be worth at least 20% of what I have in it. There you go. So how will you prepare yourself in your store for a rotational decline? So the strategy is list more, because it's always, and so I'm going to stop looking at the chat and I'll go into my sell-through rates. So when there's less sales, there's more opportunity to list. And I have plenty of inventory to list. And if I run out of inventory, which I can't foresee happening ever, because I can't list fast enough, when there's a decline in sales, you just list more and you have that sell-through rate. So just figure the average of 1%. Well, 1% on 20,000 active listings is more than 1% of 10,000 active listings, and 30,000 listings, that 1%. And there's probably going to be a gradual decline. And I've actually seen a decline. I started tracking, I'm going to talk about my sell-through rate on eBay, which I believe the average is 1% on eBay, somewhere right around 1%. Mine, just for historical purposes, first quarter of 2021, this time last year, my sell-through rate on eBay was 2.3%, which is monstrous, which means 2.3% of my inventory was selling on a daily basis. So basically, 2.3 cars were selling for every 100 that I had listed in my eBay store on a daily basis. That's astronomical. Now here lately, my most recent, and now I've been keeping track of my sell-through rates and my daily numbers, projecting them out based on 50,000 active listings, which it's going to be a while before I get there. My goal was October 15th, not even going to come close. I think my new goal is going to be 20,000 on October 15th. Or I guess maybe half of it. Maybe I'll try for 25,000. So my latest sell-through rate, when I ran the numbers yesterday, these are all based on 90-day averages, which gives me a nice long quarter window, was 0.69%, which is actually in a decline. It peaked. So I started tracking these on a daily basis on December 20th. I was always keeping track, but I wasn't writing them down or putting them into a spreadsheet until December 20th. So December 20th, and here's my 90-day rolling average. In 90 days on December 20th, I had sold 4,860 items in the previous 90 days. I had 8,612 active listings when this snapshot was taken, which meant I was moving 54 cards per day. My sell-through rate was 0.62%. So that was on December 20th. And then it gradually increased. So let's see, it finally hit 0.7% on January 15th. So about a month later. And so my volume sold went from 4,860 to 6,378. And by this point, a month later, I was now moving almost 71 cards per day. and my sell-through rate hit 0.7%. The peak, let's see, where did my peak, I think, was 0.77% here since I ran the number, since I began running the numbers on December 20th. So let's see, 0.7756. So it looks like it peaked on March 14th, so almost a month ago. Now my numbers, my 90-day numbers had increased to 7,607. So I was moving roughly 85 cards per day out of my eBay store. My sell-through rate was 0.776%, so almost 0.78%. But then a few days later, I left for spring training. So my numbers were on a gradual decline. By the time I returned, let's see, on March, so then I took a snapshot on March 31st after my week in spring training. My numbers had declined all the way from 83, from the day before I left, 83.2 items sold per day to 76.94. So it was a significant decrease. And my sell-through rate dropped from 0.75% to 0.71%. So, and right now, again, yesterday's sell-through rate 0.69%. So there has been a gradual decline after seeing that peak in February into early March. So, so the plan to combat that is list more. Going back to the chat, so that was DR's comment on rotational decline. Diego says the Sandberg count will rise. Jenny says, and we got guys and gals that suddenly have child support to pay because they split from being stuck at home together. I'm not even joking. Divorce rates spike. That's kind of sad. But I guess I could see that, you know. Cooter says, just curious, are you tracking a pallet purchase with the A1 on your new listings? Would love it if my new Will Clarks came from a historic transaction. So yes and no, Cooter. Yes and no. So the yes, I'm not sure which Will Clarks you purchased, but if they were the mother's cookies, they did come from the latest Goodwill transaction. However, this is a great question because this is something I just introduced yesterday. Because with baseball, it takes me so much time to organize them by set and by year that I'm always trying to think of more efficient ways to organize my store inventory. And yesterday I listed about 300 baseball cards, and it's like, it's going to take me a long time to sort these out, 88, 89, 90, and then put them in their appropriate homes. So I went with the A1 tag in the title. So that tells me they're going to be in a box, and I haven't even created it yet. They're still upstairs waiting to be filed. So I'll use one of these, and it will say A1. So I make a new monster box, and so A1 were the 300 cards I listed yesterday. And then today, if I list 100 more cards, it'll go under A2. So it's kind of a trial run just to see how my tracking works on, is this a more efficient way, or should I continue to sort by, when it comes to baseball, set, year, and all that. So I'm going to see. There could be a kink. I've already thought about, okay, how can this go awry? One such way is, what if I just randomly forget to start typing A1 in some of the listings, and then I'm looking through, say it's 1988 Will Clark. I can't find Will Clark. Where in the heck did these Will Clarks go? And I might have to say, hey, I lost this card where, oh crap, it's under A1. But here's the problem. If it's only A1, it's like, okay, oh, Will Clark's not in 1988. I bet I forgot to put the A1 tag in the title. So I'll go look through A1. Found them. Here they are. But what if I have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, and there's A26, and I forgot to put, now boom, I'm in a dilly of a pickle. So it may be a short-lived process. So we'll see how this goes. Ideally, I would like to, I think there's actually like a SKU within the file exchange spreadsheet where you can put like A1, and then you can just copy and paste all the way down. So that's something that I may look into, where it's a safeguard, where I'll still put A1 in the title. In fact, I'm going to employ that today, where I can just, I'll put A1, but it's a backup. So if I forget to put A1 in the title, I can check the SKU. Say it's a Will Clark 88 Mother's Cookies. I can't find it in the 88 pile. But I have now A1, A3. I have A through A26, and I can't sort through 5,000 cards looking for a couple Will Clark cards. So now I'm going to go into the listing, or I'm going to sort it by SKU, and I can look it up. Okay, this is an A13. So now I know. So it's a backup safeguard. So I think I'm going to employ that today, where if I forget to put the tag in the title, at least I'll be at the beginning of my file exchange, inserting this data. I'll put the SKU in. Okay, this is going to be today. It'll be A2. So there's going to be a SKU for A2. So there you go. So Cooter, you are one of the first that has purchased something from my inventory using this new process, and it did come from the pallet purchase. These Mother's Cookies cards did come from the purchase. I've ever seen. I don't know if, and you may have said it already in the chat, I don't know if you bought the Mother's Cookies cards, but when I was going through one of the boxes and I pulled these out, I'm like, I've never seen this Will Clark card, and I flipped it over. Mother's Cookies. I've heard all about Mother's Cookies cards, but I don't think I've ever owned any. And I think, was Mother's Cookies only a West Coast thing? This is something John will know. If John can, it was wet, because I know the Oakland A's had Mother's Cookies, and I know the Giants had Mother's Cookies. So was Mother's Cookies like a West Coast, or a regional West Coast thing? I don't know, because I don't think the Cubs ever had any Mother's Cookies sets. Let's see. Good morning, Hockey Box Breakers. What's happening? Herman says I don't kiss and tell. Ooh. Let's see. George says 2024 rookie class is going to be the best ever. 2,000 for a Series 1 hobby box is underpriced, in my opinion. The high-end stuff will drop quicker and farther. Absolutely. Herman was late due to the rumor he got lucky with the misses last night. Why aren't you pulling any hard-to-find Burleys? OG says, promote the show today. What time are you going live, on your channel or Mike's or both? Yes. Hobby Hotline tonight, 8 p.m. Central. It'll be on the Hobby Hotline channel. So just type in Hobby Hotline on in YouTube. I think it's on all platforms, but check it out on YouTube. Hobby Hotline. Mike Moynihan and Rich Klein will be in the show, and I'll be on there as well. So it's going to be fun to talk with those guys. Of course, I've talked to Rich several times, but I've never talked to Mike. So I love his show, and I watch most of his content. So I'm excited to be on with him. So that's tonight, 8 p.m. Central, Hobby Hotline. Why are we talking about steak sauce? I prefer Heinz 57. I would suggest have a box for your current year stuff, and I do, and that makes it easy. So all of my baseball stuff right now, before yesterday's A1, is sorted by year and product. And I'll probably do that with new product. Like if I rip a hobby box or a blaster box, I'll probably continue doing that and not tag it based on A1. I think the A1 tags might be just for if I'm listing bulk, where I buy a bulk buy and I'm listing 200-300 cards at a time. And I don't want to sort all those cards, where if I'm opening a blaster or hobby box, I'm probably listing those right away, and it's going to be like a 50 to 100 card list. And it's all going to be the same product. So there's really no sorting that needs to be done, and I can just file them away. Here's 2022 Topps Heritage. Let's see. Cooter says, don't file the Mother's Cookies Clarks. They're coming to Oklahoma. Let's see. I love Pixelated Bow as my Wi-Fi sucking. JT uses the SKU with Triple Crown. Yep, and I think we actually talked about that. I don't know if it was on air or off air, but that's something that I did, maybe even in direct messaging. because I wanted to get his thoughts on how he organizes, because he has I think over 30,000 listings in his eBay store. Looks like a 60 minutes interview. I love the skew to track inventory. There's a lot of Astros, Rangers, Mothers as well. Mariners. Okay. So maybe it is west of the Mississippi. I noticed the GW1 title on some of your listings when looking the other day and was thinking I had never seen a Freeman numbered GW1. And I actually get not a lot, but I get a few questions on that. So GW1 stands for Goodwill 1. So that was the first pallet of Goodwill that I bought. And then there's an RO01. That's for the Rockford Card Show, January. There's a WO01. That's for the Woodstock Show in January. And then there's like an RO02. I think there's a MA02 or 03 for the Madison Show. And then there's a GW2. That's for Goodwill 2. And then I kind of have stopped using those numbers for the most recent Goodwill pallet, as well as my Rockford Show bulk buy from this past weekend. Dodgers, Angels, and Astros also had them. Tonight will be epic, all-star lineup. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? It's John, Rich, and then you got me. Mike is absolutely awesome. You will definitely vibe. He's a real red, white, and blue American. I love Mike. He's awesome. Excited to see him in Dallas. Tell him Bradley from Seattle sends aloha. Will do. Is he going to the show The Beast? He and his dad built an incredible museum quality. I've heard so much about The Beast. I've heard so many mentions of The Beast. Zach had to step away. Victor, let's see, asks Jennings if she'll be set up. Why did you stop using that for pallets? I just, it was kind of, I think because I forgot, to be honest with you. I think because the first few items I listed from my third Goodwill pallet, I did not use file exchange. So I was just listing them like from my couch, like here and there. And it's like, oh crap, this is from the Goodwill pallet. And some of the cards were like mixed in with other cards that I was listing that were not part of the Goodwill pallet. So I just forgot. So then when I started listing like in the file exchange, and that's when the idea came where I think I'm going to use a skew so I don't have to sort all these cards because my piles are building, and I'm being not as efficient because I'm looking through multiple piles for cards. So that's why. Partly because I forgot, partly because I want to do a new skew method. So just trying to continue finding ways to be more efficient. So that's what I had for today. Hopefully it wasn't too pessimistic today, but I do think we're in for a decline, but it doesn't mean it's all bad. And hey, if you're a collector and you don't care, about flipping and high prices, we're still like, even though I do this full time, I'm going to leave with this. Even though I sell cards full time and I don't want the hobby to decline and I don't want card values to drop, I'm at the end of the day, I'm still going to collect Cubs cards. I'm still going to buy and sell cards, and I'm still going to do it full time because I do like, and I'm glad, I think Jenny asked, how is it going to affect my business? And yes, it will affect the business, but I think just by using the sell-through rates and using that time, because I have the inventory, and the inventory will come cheaper, that I think it won't affect me, on the bottom line as much. And if it does, so be it. I'll move on to something else, but I don't foresee that happening in the near future. And I will definitely still be collecting Cubs. By the way, I guess I'll leave with this. By the way, I still have like 2 months worth of mail that I haven't opened of Cubs cards. So at some point I'm going to tackle getting those counted, because I definitely need to get the Cubs cardometer updated before I go to Wrigley, which typically I don't go to Wrigley before Memorial Day anyway. But maybe I'll make a Wrigley appearance in May at some point. But I do need to get those Cubs cards counted. So that's what I'll leave with. So tonight, Hobby Hotline, 8 p.m. Central Time. Check out Hobby Hotline on YouTube and in other streaming platforms. Mike Moynihan, Rich Klein, and myself, again, 8 p.m. Central for Hobby Hotline. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll chat again tomorrow.